Welcome to the 2010 WJ Pitch Roundtable on Tiger Woods. I'm sports editor Jeremy Smith alongside staff writer Ryan Lynch, sports editor Hannah Flesch, editorial editor Ian Green, and editor-in-chief Abby Singley. Alright guys, general question first. What is your overall reaction on Tiger Woods' speech in terms of what he said, if it was sincere or not, things like that? Ian?
Well, I really thought that it sort of felt like manufactured, I would say. Like, it felt like he was maybe sorry for the wrong reasons, but it was mainly just to try and save his image, because this is the first time we've heard him talk in, 4 months? I don't even know how long it's been, but, and it was just to help save his image, but I didn't really feel like it was that genuine.
What about you, Hannah?
Well, it seemed a lot scripted, and, he had to say what he had to say, the right things, and, you didn't really get his whole genuine, as Ian said, about it, and it just felt so, something like you'd see a classmate do in class, rehearsing it and memorizing it, and what do you think, Ryan?
I felt like it was pretty straightforward. I mean, it was about what I expected. Many people talk about how it was, sounded a little scripted. I mean, that was true, but, Tiger's a professional guy. You don't expect him to go up there and wing it. So, of course, he doesn't have a script. But other than that, I felt like, as Hannah said, he said everything he needed to say. There are some things that were questionable in there, like who he apologized to first, that you could talk about. But I felt for the most part it's pretty straightforward, and I didn't expect much out of it, so he said what he needed to say.
You guys are saying that it was all very scripted. How much more sincere could he have been? What could he have said? Because you keep saying he said what he needed to have said. What could he have said more that would have made you push it over the edge and say this is a sincere speech?
That's a good question, but it was very scripted. You could tell that a PR team worked hard to write this speech for Tiger. There didn't seem to be any of Tiger Woods' "I want to say this" in the speech. He apologized to his sponsors before he apologized to his family. The way he said it, the way he spoke it, there just wasn't that true apologetic feeling in it.
Ian, do you think it was sincere or insincere? Just yes or no? Or sincere or insincere?
I feel like it was insincere.
Abby?
Insincere.
Let me see. I don't want to give either ways. I guess I'll go with insincere.
Hannah?
I agree.
Should we be giving Tiger Woods this much attention in terms of all the media, People Magazine, Us, Weekly, and all these magazines are jumping in as the TMZ of Tiger Woods' life, but should we be backing off or should we keep going at it? All right, and Gatorade, Accenture, and AT&T all dropped him. Gillette is going to slow down their marketing and him, and Tag Hero is also going to do that. The only sponsor that stuck with him is Nike. Do you think Nike had a right to keep him, or do you think all the other companies had a right to drop him?
He's been a part of Nike for 10 years. He's been the biggest face, maybe besides LeBron James, but he's been the face of their corporation for the most part. He's been their image, and I feel like if they dropped him, that would just be last nail in the coffin. That would be rough, and that'd be tough for Tiger to come back from. And so I feel like it's good that they're keeping him. But all these companies that are dropping him are really hurting Tiger, because most of his income comes from advertisements. He makes about $90 million a year, from Gillette, all those places, and he won't be able to support his yacht or do all the other crazy stuff that he's up to. So that impacts his life, I would say, his standard of living.
I don't think we have to worry about Tiger's money situation.
Yeah,
I think he's
I'm just saying it'll be a change for him. It'll be a change.
Yeah, I think it's a subtle change, but he screwed up, and when athletes do that, sponsors drop them. We saw what happened with Michael Phelps. I've joked about Nike. He lived by their slogan to just do it. So who knows with that one, but that's what happens when athletes screw up.
And what do you make of other golfers' reactions to him? Jasper Parnevik, who he set Elin up with Tiger, Tom Watson and Ernie Els have all come out and said things that haven't been the best, kind of giving advice. What do you think? Do you think that they should be stepping in? Because he is easily the face of golf in a way that no other athlete is the face of their sport. Do you think that golfers have a right to kind of control and say what they think about his life?
I mean, I think they have a right to respond and express their opinions. Most of the time, they're not just coming out and saying this. Reporters are asking them this, just going back and showing how powerful Tiger Woods is. But I definitely think they should be careful about what they're saying. As they said, PGA Tour the ratings for these golf tournaments and stuff, they just plummet whenever Tiger's not there. So they definitely need to be careful of saying, being critical of Tiger. I think they should kind of just let him, live his life. And some, like Anthony Kim, another golfer who won the AT&T National, I feel like some of them have been impartial and just kind of said, I'm not going to get in Tiger's business, which I think is a good way to go. I don't think you want to make Tiger impartial to them or, anger him in any way. He's already dealing with a lot. I think you just need to kind of let him work out his issues.
And 5 years from now, how do you think we'll be looking at Tiger Woods? Because if we remember, 4 or 5 years ago, Kobe Bryant was in the midst of a rape scandal, and now he's, again, arguably the best player in the NBA. Do you think that Tiger will overcome this?
Yeah, I definitely feel like he can. Because, again, with Kobe, he was, on a bad Lakers team. Everyone hated him. They all thought he was selfish, but then he's completely remade his image. There's, a Spike Lee movie, Kobe doing work. He won an NBA championship on his own, won an MVP award. Everyone just loves the guy now, and they just completely forgot about that. And I feel like with good play, Tiger comes back and he does well, then people will forget about this because, at the end, it matters more about the performance than what actually happens off the field, and people respond more to that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we can't know now. Only time will tell. And Tiger Woods has to just go forward with this, and hopefully he'll get back into golf and reestablish himself as the #1 golfer in the world.
I definitely agree with what Ian said. I think he brought up the biggest point that it's key to this discussion. Tiger just needs to get back to playing golf. I think that was, if you want to talk about one of his mistakes during this whole ordeal, I think his biggest mistake was probably overblowing this situation, not with the media himself, the media overblew it as well, but also just with himself. He's a very prideful person. He's very ashamed of what happened, and the media discussing this, and he had to tell his wife, his mom, his children, which is a very tough situation to deal with. But I feel like in a situation like that, the only way to get past is to go do what you do best, and what he does best is to play golf.
And final question, what do you think that we'll see Tiger Woods on the golf course again?
In his speech, he said maybe this year, maybe not, so he's not being very open about it, but I definitely do think it will be by next year because, like Ryan was just saying, he does need to get back to golf. That's what he does.
I feel like maybe maybe in a year from now, I think he'll come back stronger than ever.
I think towards the end of this year, he'll try to put it all behind him, and maybe get one last championship and get back to his form and everything.
I say hopefully sometime later this year, sometime before a major, maybe a smaller event so he can prepare for an upcoming major sometime later this year.
Great. Thanks a lot, guys. For WJPitch.com, I'm Jeremy Smith.